Hello, I'm Philip Stoten. I'm here at Apex 2020 and we are discussing buy or make. When I look at this situation, we were chatting about it off screen and I was just telling a story of our little garden at home. So we decided to grow some vegetables and we decided to do the whole thing very organically, and we have an apartment, so we had to start by buying a big wooden box on wheels, which was made out of a recycled apple cart, so that was very cool. And we live in a pretty warm climate, so nothing grew. We didn't use any fertilizers. We will have spent 4 months making a bowl of salad, and we will have spent about $400 on it. Now, that was fun to make, but it wasn't economically viable. And I see this all the time in the industry. I talk to the big EMS companies, and they are constantly developing their own software or developing their own small niche pieces. Then they find them hard to maintain. They find them complex to deploy. Is that something that you're seeing throughout the market? And how do people make the decisions whether they should buy or make? I'm going to start with you, Alejandro, because you talk to a lot of people, and you also talk to a lot of principals that are in this area. What do you see in terms of that trend?
Well, first, we have done digital transformation projects for the past 15 years, very big projects. Even now, we're doing one in Belgium, in the States, and of course, many in Mexico. And what we find is that companies might have digital initiatives, usually started by very brave people, but not aligned with the objectives of the company. So we go to this company and we find 15 digital initiatives, but they don't talk to each other.
Right.
So they think they add up, and they don't. So our job is to really align initiatives that complement each other and very, very in sync with the objectives of the company.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, this type of initiative, connectivity, will become very important in the future.
Yeah.
When the companies qualify for ISO, one thing they're going to do is the next ISO will evaluate how good your connectivity abilities are.
Okay.
And what are you have a very clear business model to implement digital transformation.
Okay, that's interesting. And Brian, when I look at the position you find yourself in, you have a lot of draws on your R&D time. And to me, when I look at a business like Mirtec, what always excites me when I'm talking to you is you're bringing out new inspection technologies. And I think that's great. And if you say to me, as well as that, we're doing this Industry 4.0 thing and this connectivity thing, I think, I'd rather you would focus more on inspection things. Is it that buy or make argument? Is that all about focusing your resources on your domain knowledge, what's really important to you and your customers?
Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, companies have their core competencies. Ours is going to be inspection. We spend a lot of time on making the right algorithms, making perfect hardware as best you can to make the machine sing and do exactly what the customers need. If I were to take, and for instance, we're working with Cogiscan for connectivity, we did have a joint venture. It's called our TRMS with Connect. TRMS was developed by our engineers, and of course, we're using the Connect platform, Cogiscan. If we had undertook the entire project on our own, then we'd be basically reinventing the wheel. Why would we have to do that? It is a drain on my resources, and I'd much rather have my engineering department working on those things that I know that we are experts at, and relying upon other experts in the field or out there, such as Cogiscan, to help us to get to that point where we want to be, where we can connect everything. So that's something where it doesn't make sense to spend resources and time and effort, like I said, in reinventing the wheel. It just simply doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So you go out and source that. And Davina, when I look at Cogiscan, you've got a really strong reputation, not just in connectivity in terms of equipment, but in connectivity of companies and collaboration and forging all those partnerships. Do you come into that situation when people have started to go down the make process and maybe have decided at a later date that maybe they should bring someone else in, or are you able to get in very early on those discussions?
It depends. I think in the past it was they had tried maybe a little bit in-house and realized that they were wasting resources, being distracted from their core value, what they're good at, and they didn't get the solution that they were expecting or that maybe their end customers were expecting, right? And so they would come to us and say, please help, we're not where we need to be. But I think as connectivity and digital transformation gain reality in this industry, people are coming to us sooner because they've heard the stories of our great collaboration with Mirtec and other partners where we've added value to their software capabilities and allowed them to reach their goals of connectivity. And it's being driven by their end customers, right? And then that way they can focus on the best inspection machines or what it is that they excel at. Yeah.
And Alejandro, when you're talking to EMS companies, particularly in Mexico, and what I've found really interesting is a lot of Industry 4.0 initiatives are being tested in Guadalajara, for example, particularly some of the big EMS companies. I see a lot of those EMS companies with their own little software departments and their own little fixes. Do you see them realizing that collaboration is a better way to go and moving over to an off-the-shelf solution?
Yes, I think it's taking some time, but I think there's a lot of initiatives that soon it'll be very clear that this is the future. That we need to have a very, very clear strategy, company-wide, very aligned with the objectives of the company to do this. Like in our industry, we know we have a change of business models every 3 years. So right now it's more like individual initiatives, but I think it's going to become company initiatives.
Okay.
And I think it's coming.
Yeah. So, Brian, when you look at that, do you see the industry as becoming more collaborative now? And is it because Industry 4.0 is just too big for one company to deal with? So it's like, I can't solve it all. Let's all play nice and try and do it together.
I think you summed it up exactly. That's what it really comes down to. It is a hell of a big initiative, quite frankly. And so either you make partnerships and you collaborate, or you're not going to be on track to get anywhere near Industry 4.0. If we don't collaborate as an industry, you simply can't accomplish it. There's no way. First of all, one of the reasons as well why we select Cogiscan and other partners like Cogiscan is because there's going to be problems trying to interface with the different competitors out there.
Yeah.
We kind of need somebody to be neutral as well, right? That allows us to connect to not only the newer equipment out there, also competitive equipment, also legacy products.
Yeah.
Now think about that undertaking. You have a beautiful machine, whatever it might be, and you want to connect that machine to many different machines, including legacy products. You need middleware to do that. It's just, you can't get there on your own. And I think people are starting to realize, or I hope in your case, they're starting to realize that they can't undertake such a big project that requires collaboration. And that's where we made the decision to move forward and collaborate with Cogiscan. It made sense, made perfect sense. Economically, absolutely makes sense. And just based on the fact that they know what they're doing. So.
Yeah, and it's interesting what you say, Brian, because it's not just they know what they're doing, it's that trusted partner status.
Totally.
And that's quite unusual in this industry to have achieved that. What do you think it is about Cogiscan
Well, look
that
at her.
makes
Look
you
at
feel...
how innocent she looks. I trust the hell out of her.
So I'm going to come to you on that one, Davina. I'll give
Looks
you...
can be deceiving,
Looks-
Brian.
I know.
Looks can be deceiving, but we talk about this...
Not with Cogiscan.
We talk about this period of collaboration, and I actually think Cogiscan were way ahead of this, and that's why they're benefiting at the moment, because Cogiscan were in this, were collaborating with everybody way before a lot of other companies realized it was the only way forward, and that's part of the DNA of the business.
Absolutely, and it's honestly one of the reasons why I was so eager to work for them personally as well. I think the fact that they had 3 founders, they're still working together, sharing an office, collaboration is certainly a part of our DNA. And early on in this industry, 10 years ago, people were shy of collaborating. It was protecting secrets, but I think as the Internet of Things and as collaboration is sort of ubiquitous across most things that we use in our personal lives, our cars are a process of collaboration, our smartphones, I think this industry realizes if they want to leverage this IIoT strategy, collaboration is the only way that you're going to exceed time to market and get your users or your customers what they want.
Yeah.
And so it is a little selfishly, maybe some of them are coming to collaboration, but we're delighted to have them join that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and it makes sense.
Yeah,
Right?
it makes sense.
It can't just be kumbaya. It has to make, financial
Commercial sense.
and commercial sense. Absolutely.
It has to be viable.
I mean, I like you, Brian, but it's got to make sense.
I'm not saying with you.
Yeah. And three guys sharing an office for 20 years, I think that's pretty impressive.
That's a little scary. I don't know about those.
You have your own office, don't you?
Yeah,
You have
I
your
do.
own office, and when you want to shut the door, you shut that door. I understand. I get that. Alejandro, are people looking for more holistic solutions when they come to you? You have a whole array of products to offer. Are people saying, we need this, and this, we need to shoot this many components per hour and achieve this? We want that, but we want it all connected together. Is that what people are asking for?
Yes, they're definitely asking for that. Yeah, people realize that the only way to go up to beat competition is to have solutions that are sequential, that are repeatable, that add up. Okay, and believe it or not, we see that more and more, like where point solutions are kind of disappearing.
Yeah.
And yes, our job is to really make the enablement, the engagement, to make sure that that happens.
Yeah. And Brian, it's really a question of focusing on what you're awesome at and allowing other people to focus on what they're awesome at, and that allows you to deliver what your customers are looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Well, guys,
Thank you.
thanks very much for coming by. Really interesting discussion, and I think we are in this position where the industry is becoming more collaborative, and they do, you can allow people to get on with what they're good at to allow you to, to do what you really do well. So fantastic.
Maybe we need to do Cogiscan cluster
There you go. Perfect.
4.0.
I like
There you go. But first,
Connect.
there you go.
There we go.
Thank you.